boss said, I asked him, what's your succession plan, boss? And he said, I'm going to get hit by a bus. I'm never planning a succession. Let's talk about yours. It's a very vulnerable time for an organization. I've been there a long time. Whatever foibles or idiosyncrasies Bingham has are pretty much mine because I've been there so long. So we talked a little bit here about how talent management's a little bit still a mystery. There's some diagnostic tools, but you know from your own organizations, the linkage between people is a chemistry test that not everybody has all the variables figured out. It either works or it doesn't. You have to do some trial and error. So when you change that, it makes the organization very vulnerable. So the takeaways from what I've been going through, and I've been doing this now for a year and a month, and I leave Bingham at the end of this year. One is the importance of coaching. We have some examples of good executive coaches here too. Very important to get some external help when you go through a significant transition. It's expensive, but it's well worth the money. The second thing is the need for a detailed plan. I talked about when we do mergers, we do these really hyper-detailed, almost anal checklists of things because we don't want people to have different opinions. Same thing happens in transition. People get their feelings hurt very quickly if it's assumed that certain things are going to happen, they don't happen, or information you expected to get, you don't get. And that spigot of information starts to change as you go through transition. If that's laid out clearly in advance, then the chances of misinterpretation, hurt feelings get smaller. And I'm talking micro planning, not just you're going to. We laid out a plan by certain days, certain things are going to happen. We're doing this internal communications plan. Next month we do a series of town hall meetings, which we do every year at Bingham. It's one of the reasons we're on that Best Places to Work is because we go out and talk to everybody all the time. One of the subjects will be my transition, and I will explain to the staffs in every office we go to personally what I'm going through, what I'm going to be doing, so that they've heard that from me, which takes away a lot of ambiguity. They don't feel sorry for me. I'm actually articulating it, so that's important. My note to myself said, need for detailed plan, hashed out by all parties so that there are no surprises. Now, inevitably in life there's going to be surprises. What you're trying to do is minimize the number of those. And then this really ties into what Larry said, public events to celebrate. You know, we are very, very proud. My successor's on board. I know her well. She's been working with me for the last few years. This is a big savings for the firm because we didn't have to go outside the organization. It's going to be perceived as a huge victory for diversity because they're taking a crotchety old guy, me, and they're bringing in a sharp young woman, which is great for our organization. And we can talk about that in ways that are very affirmative for our women employees, which is great. And so we will make this a celebratory event, and I think that's going to help us get through the transition. So those three things I think are absolutely key.
From a board of directors point of view, have accountability for succession planning with a committee of the board. So the board is driving. Second, is a certain percentage of the CEO's bonus should be based on achieving certain milestone in getting the succession planning moving. It actually doesn't matter how much the bonus is, but CEOs, as a general rule, are sort of driven by their compensation plan. And if there's no bonus associated with driving the compensation plan, that sends a very powerful message. So create an incentive system. I agree with Bill, it's got to be lots of details that have to be managed. There's a book I can recommend that gets into excruciating detail, but with about 100 different forms that you can use, so you don't have to invent them from scratch. It's by Bill Rothwell, R-O-T-H-W-E-L-L. The book is called Effective Succession Planning. The thing that I see in my practice is the following. Bill, we want to hire you. We need somebody who can hit the ground running. Bill, can you hit the ground running?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, I can hit the ground running. I've been doing it my whole career. Great, you start Monday morning, you will hit the ground running. Now, Bill, do you need any help? Of course I can. I don't need any help because I told you in the interview, I've been hitting the ground running my whole career, so I don't need help. So this what do you call it, onboarding stuff? Save your money. I don't need it. So what does Bill do Monday morning when he starts? I have to hit the ground running. Who do I trust Monday morning? Nobody. I don't know these people. So what am I going to do? I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do what's worked so well for me the last time I had to hit the ground running. That worked. And that's where the failure comes. And I call it hitting the ground running and then tripping on your own shoelaces. Because the failures that are made in the first 2 to 3 weeks of a new person's entree into the company are almost impossible to recover from. Because the attributions that are made are going to be personality attributions. Whereas the same mistakes made a year later, you know, I can say, well, but, you know, Bill must be having a hard day, or I know he's got a problem with his wife or his health, or, you know, I can make allowances because I know you so well. I can put it in a contingency. But the first 2 or 3 weeks, I'm going to make a personality attribution, and once that's done, it's set in stone. So one of the things that we do in our practice is it is not an option. When we do a retained search, you will get the onboarding. And if you, Mr. CEO, don't want the onboarding, too bad. It comes with the package. They don't want it until the first day, and then it saves. It's a great service.